Hello and welcome to an encouraging word update. Well, we are now into the month of October, and next week we are going to start a new series here on an encouraging word. And I have a question to lead into that. Have you ever tried to read this book? You picked it up and you just didn't know where to start. Do I read it from the start to the finish? Do I pick a book and read through a book? It can be daunting. I remember 16 years ago when I came to faith, I really had a desire to read this, but I just couldn't find a way in. 16 years later, I love reading this book, and my love for this book grows more and more every day. But how did I first get into it? Well, my first entry point was through devotionals. You know, those little magazines that come from different ministries. There's one such as In Touch Ministries puts them out, Our Daily Bread, Men of Integrity from Promise Keepers. There's so many out there, and there's usually a scripture focus, a verse or two or a section of scripture, and then a reading for the day, and then kind of gives you some action points to carry on through as you go out in your day. It kind of sets you up by going into the Word and then sets you going into your day. Well, that was really my first entry point into the Bible, as I said earlier. I would go reading some of my devotionals and I would read a piece of scripture, but then I'd want to read more. I'd read a section of scripture and then I'd find I'd want to read a book. And 16 years later, I have found myself that I've read from front to back in a book a couple times. I've read different books and studied different books. And as I said, my love just grows for this book more and more each and every day. So in the month of October, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 4 of my favorite devotionals. I've read many over the years, but I have 4 that I kind of are my go-to right now that I'd love to share with you. And I would love, as we go through the month, for you to share some of the devotionals perhaps that you read, that you've picked up at your church or you've picked up at the local Christian bookstore or have been given to you by a friend. Because many times that's what happens with us. We get it from a friend and then that gives us a way into this book. So I'm looking forward to sharing 4 of my favorite devotionals in the month of October, and I'm looking forward to you joining me again on an encouraging word. So until we meet next Wednesday, Lord willing, love God, love Christ, love each other, and love yourself. Take care.